Good morning on this Thursday, a new day.
It's a new day.
Friday.
It's a different day.
That's right. Guys, anything that we say is not meant to diagnose you or cure you. It's just for food for thought, information, entertainment, whatever you'd like to do with the information. But
You get
check
cured.
with your doctor before applying any of the information.
It's not our fault.
And Karen wanted to matchy today, so we're in the pink.
I dressed first. You.
I didn't know actually you wore this color. So.
Real men wear pink.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you got that going for you.
Good. So there's a ton of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Did have a comment I wanted to mention right now. Someone on YouTube said, it's just too expensive to eat healthy. It might not even be worth it to them. So what do you think? Is it too expensive to eat healthy nowadays?
Well, I can tell you one thing that I don't know the statistic, but I know a ton of your money is going to be spent in the last year or two of your life.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I think it's kind of expensive to be unhealthy.
To be sick.
Unless you have good health insurance.
Which
all
we all
depends.
have right now.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So, you know what?
What?
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it because it's not just about the cost of medical care. It's basically your life.
It's your life. It's your time. It's your energy. It's your quality of life.
To be tired all the time, have inflammation.
Immobile.
Some people just live with that. It's like
medicated.
It's unnecessary.
Right.
Completely.
Plus, it's not true.
What's not true? That
it's more expensive to eat healthy.
Well, it depends where you go. If you go to, you can get 2 burgers for $1 at
oh, that's
Berg
true.
King. That's pretty
true.
cheap.
That's true.
So let's go to Solomon. Are you there? Solomon.
Yeah.
From Tennessee. You had a question. Go ahead.
Yes. Hello, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Yeah, just 2 quick questions. One, what can someone do for a collapsed lung? And secondly, my right knee continuously pops as I walk. It's not painful at all, but it's annoying. How can I fix it?
Well, from all my experience from fixing collapsed lungs over the years, which I have zero experience in. Yeah, I don't know how you would treat a collapsed lung other than pump it back up. I have no idea. So I couldn't answer that one.
We have compassion for you.
But as far as the knee goes, I can answer that. Usually the popping occurs when there's the symmetry is not correct between the left and right knee. And I actually created 2 videos on the knee. You should watch them and go through step by step, and I show you how to work on the muscles to get some symmetry between the left and the right. And so many people from either a sprained ankle or falling on the buttocks, when you jam your hip, it can throw off the knee. The balance between the front part of the muscles and the back and the side are all in sync. And just one little injury can throw everything off, and that's where you get the popping or the grinding. So I would watch those videos and do the technique. If I could see you in person, we can actually demo it, but we're not seeing you in person. But you know what I should do, though, Karen? I think I'm going to actually do a video on how to balance the muscles between left and right. That's actually I think that'd be a good video. So stay tuned for that, but thanks for your question. And sorry I couldn't help you on the collapsed lung. All right, let's go to Gigi from Temple City, California. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. My
Hi.
first time getting through.
Oh,
Yay.
Good. Good.
Thank you. So I'm trying to get pregnant, and I've been doing your keto. I'm doing keto, healthy keto, and intermittent fasting since March 7th, and I lost 40 pounds. I was obese, and now I'm just overweight, and from an XL down to a size large. I still want to go within normal range and get to a medium, hopefully before I get pregnant, but even, I'm not wasting any chances because I'm up there in age and in perimenopausal stage, so I take my periods with gratitude. And I'm trying to keep my blood sugar low so that I don't injure the baby and have a healthy pregnancy. And so at first when I started doing keto, I got off of my meds. I'm type 2 diabetic. and because I was worried I'd go too low. And I could stay like that if I wasn't trying to get pregnant until I reversed it. But I've been trying to follow Jason Fung too in reversing diabetes. But I need the blood sugars lower. So I tried all sorts of supplements, including yours and others, and haven't been able to do it. So I'm going back on meds. But I'm worried about the insulin. I'm very tired on keto and intermittent fasting anyways. I'm probably not doing it fully, right? But so it's hard to me to exercise to lower my blood sugar, which I like to do more of. But and I need to. I do dance and I do boogie boarding sometimes.
Well, let me give you some
yoga.
tips. I'm going to give you some tips on what to do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to get pregnant. The most important thing right now is to start preparing your body for that as far as nutritionally, so that baby comes out really healthy. There's there's several things that are really, really important at this stage, and also while you're pregnant. Vitamin D, crucial, could really prevent a lot of problems down the road. DHA, it's an omega-3 fatty acid. You can get that from many things, fish oil, but cod liver oil is a great source. Folate, but make sure you get from nutritional yeast, or you can get it from dark leafy green vegetables, like especially the one that's really high is the asparagus. So the folate, you don't want to take a synthetic prenatal because they're going to give you folic acid. You want actual folate, methylfolate. That comes from food. And then trace minerals. Okay, those are the key things you need to, and then of course with the trace minerals you have the iodine in there and zinc and things like that. So those are crucial. Now I know you're trying to run into a situation when you're losing weight and the blood sugars are still high, but as soon as you start taking insulin, what's going to happen is that there's the side effects from insulin are almost the same as high blood sugar if you take too much. So the point is that you want to do something that minimizes the need for insulin. You want normal insulin, and if it's not really coming down, you need to do the program more strict, and actually by the book, this book right here.
Do it by the book. By the book.
So you got to read the book.
By the book.
So because there's a way to do it, and you just need to do it exactly correct. The other thing is that it's more important right now to put your energy into not rushing it, but just giving it some more time to let your blood sugar come down, and keep tweaking it, and maybe doing longer intermittent fasting. And then you're going to find that your diabetic situation over time will be better and better and better. Less insulin resistance, absorb more nutrients, and a healthier baby. That's what I would do. Thanks for your call. All right, Karen. What do we have?
Well, first I'm going to give a shout out.
Okay.
So far, all over the United States. We also have people watching from Australia, India, Iraq, Canada, Ireland, Hong Kong, South Africa, Spain, Israel, Portugal, Colombia, and the Netherlands. And I know now that I said that, I'm probably going to have 20 more people.
Miss a country.
That's okay. I'll do another shout out. Okay, so Robin on Facebook is asking. She uses apple cider vinegar and water, but every time that she takes her digestive enzymes with ox bile, she gets heartburn.
Yeah. You want to not take that before the meal. You want to take your bile salts after the meal, because bile is alkaline, so it's going to neutralize the stomach acid. So if you still have a problem, then don't take it for a while and build up the stomach acid so you have more acid. So many people are missing acid in the stomach, and they don't have the correct pH, and that creates huge problems with absorbing minerals, breaking down protein, and a bunch of other things that we're going to talk about at the summit, which I'm excited about.
By the way, folks, a quick word. Some people on Facebook were not able to hear the sound, others were. So if you will log off on your Facebook and log back on, you'll be able to hear it. So some glitch with Facebook, but it's sounding fine. YouTube's great. But so if you can't hear it on Facebook, log off, log back on, and loud and clear. Thank you.
All right.
Perfect.
So, yeah, so basically take betaine hydrochloride and then build up, and then try to add that in after the meal. See if that helps you. All right? Is that good?
That's good.
That is an answer?
That is an answer.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just got some more Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam, Germany, Australia, Italy, all
Wow.
tuned into you this morning.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of preparation for this exciting summit. A lot of you watching are going to be there.
Yes.
So can't wait to meet you in person. And we're going to have a blast. It's going to be really exciting.
Everybody's starting to pour in to
Yep,
town
just starting.
between today and tomorrow.
Yep,
It's going to be very exciting.
absolutely.
Okay. Take
Okay.
a call and I'll.
Kyle, you're from New York. You had a question about your fat macros. Go ahead. What was your question?
Okay, I noticed we're about the same size and weight. I'm about 6 feet, 180. I go to 185 pounds. So I took the keto quiz, and it said I needed to eat 167 grams of fat per day. Is that right? Can that be right?
No, what quiz did you take? My quiz?
Quiz it was.
Yeah, it couldn't have been my quiz because, yeah, that I think that's too much. You know, from these quizzes, it's almost impossible to really determine how much, how many macros you need. There's so many variables. I am creating a keto calculator, not done yet because it's very complex. I want to add a bunch of things in there, but because you have these variables, you have like your age, your metabolism, your digestion, you have your hormones, your thyroid, how much insulin resistance you have, and for you to have that much fat, I think is a bit too much. So why don't you try something like maybe? What's that?
How much do you suggest then in a day?
How about 100, 110 grams? Does that sound good?
Okay, sounds good.
Try that.
I will.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's go to Morgan from Connecticut. You had a question, Morgan. Tell me, what was your question?
Yes, my question is, so last November I stopped being vegan and raw vegan, and I was eating a lot of fruit at that time. And I cut all my hair off, and my hair was growing really, really quickly. And then, so when November of last year came and I stopped eating fruit and I started doing something similar to keto. I wasn't fully keto, but I was close enough. My hair wasn't really growing as quickly. Same with my nails. They weren't growing as quickly as it was before. If I got a cut, it wasn't healing as fast. And so my main question is, because I know I watched a lot of your videos about fruit and how it spikes insulin. And when I was raw vegan, I was actually gaining a lot of weight, which was like, okay, I need to do something. And now that I've stopped eating fruit, I have lost some weight, which I'm like, yay, but I don't know what to do with my hair now.
Got it.
So
And
do you have an
you're a woman
alternative
you
that
don't
I
like.
can use?
You're a woman you don't like going bald.
Yes.
There's something about
No.
wigs you don't like. Okay, I understand.
Yes, I do not want to wear wigs.
Okay. So first of all, the fruit thing. The fruit has fructose. Doesn't necessarily, the fructose in there is not what's making the hair grow. It's the minerals in the fruit. If you actually consume foods that are high in trace minerals from a non-vegan or animal products, I think that's going to help your hair more than anything. Plus, it'll give you the amino acids that you need. So you need both protein, high quality, and you need trace minerals for the hair and B vitamins. I would, if I were you, do shellfish because shellfish has some serious high amounts of trace minerals and way more than fruit, and that should help your hair come back. Plus it has the protein and DHA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid. Also, I would do, try to do keto like I recommend, okay, in this book right here. Because there's people that do, like I do a sort of a keto, but you know, I designed this book to actually make sure you wouldn't lose your hair. So my whole thing is like, well, do it exactly like you should, and you probably are not going to have any problems. There is one thing that I have as a new product that you might want to consider, and it's called Keto Essential Amino Acids. And I just want to mention this real quick because it's a very cool product, because it has just straight amino acids in the exact ratios that you need. There's a whole ton of research behind it. And what happens when you take it, 1% of it is wasted, but 99% is not just absorbed, but it's used to grow body tissue. As compared to other proteins, like the best being an egg, is only 48%. 48% of that actually turns into body tissue. The rest is either used for fuel or waste. So when you're dealing with a protein deficiency, and which a lot of people have for various reasons, which I'm not going to get into, if you take a high quality amino acid blend, you can drive it in there, not waste any of it, and have it directly go to things like hair, nails, muscle. You take it on an empty stomach, it's awesome, and it has the highest, it's called utilization percentage or rate of protein. Nothing to do with absorption, but just it goes right in like a rocket ship, and you can use it. So it's called keto essential aminos. I take it before my workouts, and it won't spike your insulin. Good question, though. All right, Karen, I'm ready for another question.
Okay, good. So one more shout out. We also have Aruba, Pakistan, Nigeria, Indonesia. This is
Awesome.
close to the highest number of other countries I think we've ever had.
This is great.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Okay, so here's an interesting question you have never had before.
Okay.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. How would you
Fix a
recommend...
lung that's deflated?
No.
Okay.
How to handle a plateau. No, just kidding. There's video on that, and we answer that all the time. Okay. How would you recommend cleaning the system from methamphetamine use?
Well, when you're you're dealing with the detoxification of basically a drug or a poison, these drugs and poisons inhibit enzymes. That's what they do. And so what you can do to clean that out is support your own enzyme systems, your own detoxification enzyme systems. And there's nothing better than the cruciferous family of vegetables that can do that. And it'll clean your liver out. Of course, supporting yourself with all the nutrients is going to be essential too. And eating super healthy, keto, of course, but do it nutrient-dense type foods. And so, but the cruciferous vegetables, I think, would be a good detox to get started on that.
That brings up a question, because sometimes we hear people say, well, should I detox before I start keto?
Yeah. Good
And this
question.
whole idea of detoxing is really popular.
I wonder if I did a video on that. If I haven't, I'm going to do that today, Karen, because
Write a note.
detox, should I do detox? I've done a lot of detoxes,
Yes.
and I've gotten sick.
A lot of times.
I don't recommend detoxes unless you're doing it supervised and you know what you're doing and you're doing it in a controlled environment. When you take an herbal detox, you're just basically dumping a bunch of stuff out of the cells, these poisons, and recirculating through the body.
It's a very, very
And it
fast process.
These toxins are stuck in your fat cells. So I think the best thing to do is a very gradual, safe way to do it is cruciferous, because cruciferous will increase enzymes to slowly dismantle these poisons and turn them into harmless water-soluble particles so you don't get that detox reaction. So it's a real safe way of dealing with this. That's what I would recommend.
I like it. And that would be for any drug, any kind of toxin you're trying to
Yeah,
handle.
any type of, there's other drugs. Let's say, for example, you were poisoned with, I don't know, aspirin poisoning or something else. You could take
Mercury comes up
mercury.
all the time.
You could take bentonite clay or charcoal. Not the stuff that in your charcoal grill. Okay, there's more of a safer charcoal. You get it from the health food store, and those things help quickly counter poisons if you've been poisoned. I would keep some around the house just in case. You know, never know when someone might be poisoned. You just give them some charcoal. Boom, save their life like that.
Amazing.
You know,
Amazing.
I helped save a life. I was actually at a restaurant with someone, and I can't breathe.
That's terrifying.
And I'm like, I've never been in a situation where they just got some food stuck in their throat and they couldn't breathe. And I'm just like rolling through, what am I going to do with this situation?
It's your doctor.
I'm like, you don't remember these things in school. It's been a while unless you practice them. So I quickly started to do it. You know, I got behind her and I started to underneath her diaphragm, and it didn't work. Didn't work. So what I said is, all right, just relax and just let your throat relax. And she did that and she started breathing again. Thank goodness. She came too.
But you told me this story. It was a fascinating thing. What was everyone else in the restaurant doing?
Watching.
Nothing.
No, I don't think they knew what to do.
Well, that's a good thing that you knew what to do.
Now, as they're uploading the questions again,
The phones.
something
Well, I have more
happened.
questions. It's okay.
I wanted to just
Oh.
I wanted to just mention one thing that
Okay.
just prompted another idea for a video.
Okay.
I want to do a video on tonsils, and do you really need them or not? Yes or no?
Extra organs.
Well, first of all, anyone that says that you don't need your tonsils, and there are a lot of people who say that,
Yeah.
probably is in the business of removing tonsils. And I won't mention any names, but the point is that your body wouldn't have any organs or tissues unless there was a reason, I promise you. So we just don't have, like, oh yeah, we have this extra organ, you need gallbladder. We don't really need that. You don't need
Appendix.
tonsils, just take it out. Like the
You don't
tonsils,
need your thyroid. You don't need your uterus. You don't need your ovaries.
when you have your tonsils out, your risk for infection of the lung, of getting sick, goes up. So obviously we need our tonsils for immune system. So it's the first line of defense. So I will be doing a video on that today, Karen.
Do you still have your tonsils?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah. I do.
I have all my organs, I'm happy to say.
That's a good thing.
I
That's
know.
a very good thing.
I got a full deck.
Yes, you do. That's good, Karen.
Okay, well, since we are taking off of social media here, here's a really general question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How would someone speed up their metabolism, assuming this person is doing healthy keto or wants to do healthy keto?
Well, you can learn to speed up your metabolism by learning how to slow down your metabolism. And basically, when you consume foods that trigger insulin, Karen, that's the carbs, you will shut your fat burning down. So anything that slows or inhibits insulin production will speed up your metabolism. So what will that be? How can you lower insulin?
Not having sugar,
Thank you.
not having biscuits, waffles, crackers, chips,
Good.
ice cream, cupcakes,
Good. Mm-hmm.
and that long list of things you say.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And what about frequency of eating?
Oh, eat less, right? Fast.
Not less.
Eat
Frequent.
less frequently.
Thank you. Very important.
I knew that.
I know you did.
That was a trick question
to
because
pull
I
it out of
thought
you.
you were talking about kinds of foods.
I know.
But
I know.
certainly intermittent fasting, I know.
Yeah.
Good. Now, what about Tanya on Facebook? She had a question about the keto rash. We get this often, but
It's a B2 deficiency. When you do keto, because B2 is involved in the metabolism of fats, and you are burning more fat, if you don't have enough B2, you might end up high and dry and empty. So B2 will handle the
high
rash.
and dry and empty.
But it could also be other reasons. But I would try B2 first, and it's not necessarily like a detox thing, but it's one of the B vitamins, one or two of the B vitamins. That being said, we're going to go to Mike from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Awesome.
Are you there, Mike?
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much. You've completely changed my life.
Oh,
I've been following your program since about April. I've dropped 55 pounds.
Woo!
Wow.
Blood pressure's back to normal. I see life in a totally different view now. I see all the foods that we eat, everything. It's amazing how I see life through different filters, so to say. And I have helped and kind of coached probably half a dozen people that are working on it too.
Oh,
But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There's really is no questions on the human side that I have because I get it. I understand your entire program. My question to you is, which I think I already know the answer is, I have dogs, and I have an older dog that's on pain maintenance medication. He's an older German Shepherd. Now, with the inflammation and everything else, obviously with how it affects humans, what do you think putting a dog on keto in a way where I'd have to study, the dog's vitamins and all, but what do you think about dogs on keto?
Yeah.
Or animals in general?
We have our dog on keto, and what you do is dogs are meant to consume meat and organ meat. So there's some types of foods that we get that have that in there. They don't have any grains or any sugars or any potatoes. They're not meant to consume that.
There
So-
are some vegetables.
Oh,
Just
now-
a little bit.
Now you
No,
tell me,
because dogs
after all
are
these years.
omnivores. Dogs are naturally omnivores. They're not just carnivores. Did you know that?
Eat some grass occasionally.
Well, let me ask you a question. And sorry, we're talking about. Does Charlie like sweet peppers?
Yes.
Yes, he
but in
likes
the wild,
vegetables. In
if
the
you
wild,
take a dog or a wolf, I'll guarantee they're not going to be eating bell peppers.
Okay.
Maybe
I'm
I'm
just
wrong.
going to tell you they're omnivores. And yes, we always pick a dog food, and this is a little controversial right now. There's some weird things about it, but we pick dog food that is grain-free, but they all do usually have some kind of little vegetable in it, but largely organ meats.
Well, this is
eggs.
new information. This is new information for me.
Google it.
So I'll have to
Go to
find it on Google. But here's the thing, Karen.
Dr. Google.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
These dogs, they do well without all the carbs. And also, here's the big problem is giving your dog a lot of treats. I recommend, honestly, feeding your dog once a day. Now, you disagree. You think maybe twice a day, that's fine. But here's the point.
He's still IF.
Once to twice a day. If your dog has arthritis, I would go down to once a day. And I would put some intermittent fasting in there, and the inflammation should drop. The other thing that you can help is add some omega-3 fatty acids in there, like fish oil. I wouldn't do fish oil. I'd do cod liver oil. That dog is going to really improve its inflammation greatly. So that's what I would do.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
But again, I'm not an expert in dogs, so...
You're not a veterinarian.
No. So I can only give my
opinion,
2 cents.
Our Charlie
2 cents.
experience. And Charlie is really vibrant, energetic.
Oh, what about all the gluten and the wheat in dog food too? And they put waste products in there. They put soy and
So much
corn
stuff.
oil.
And you have animals now, they're on friggin' antidepressants and getting injections for arthritis. And
Yeah.
you have to look to the food. So, experiment, see what your dog does best with, Charlie does best with.
Charlie definitely likes raw meat. Not that he gets any, but he likes it.
He knows. Yes. Okay, good. So
Okay.
now we're going to go to YouTube here.
Yep.
D. Will, he says, I've been eating 7 to 10 cups of leafy greens a day, but now I have a lot of green diarrhea.
Well, what happens, and I'm going to talk about this at the summit, you can overdo it if you don't have the microbe quantity and they're not used to it and you go too fast, you're going to overwhelm them. These microbes adapt quickly, and if you get diarrhea, you just, obviously, the fiber in the vegetable, you have 2 types. You have soluble and insoluble. They're both both of them you can't digest, but the one that's soluble gels up with water and supports the microbes, and they eat that, okay, and they give you beneficial stuff. And then the other part is that's not soluble, that's more like roughage and things like that. So what's happening is you just don't have that thing set up yet to handle the quantity of vegetables. So I would start with 2 cups a day, get used to that for a couple days, slowly increase it to the point where you can digest more and more of this. But the key with the vegetables is diversity, different types, and adjusting it to your tolerance. But over time, you can extract a lot of nutrients and really fortify all the different microbes, which will then help you with a bunch of other reasons, because these microbes they actually make fat for you. Microbes make fatty acids.
Oh, fatty acids.
Short-chain
I was going to
fatty
say,
acids.
now I'm not a fan of microbes if they make fat.
Not that type of fat, for fuel. And probably the number one fatty acid they make is called butyrate. And butyrate is very similar to beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone. They're very similar molecules, and they have similar effects. They both help stabilize your blood sugars. They both are anti-inflammatory. They're both antioxidants. So your microbes are happy to get that fuel from the fiber, and then they give us all sorts of support and benefit and establish the pH. But you got to kind of ease into it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Yes, and I had one here, and I had a great question here, and it just slid away while you were talking. Oh, no, here we go.
Yeah.
Says from Gladys on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you are an adrenal body type and an ovary body type without a gallbladder, which type would you address first? Started perimenopause last year, hot flashes, believed to be estrogen dominant. based on the ovary type symptoms. Also diagnosed with lupus in 2010. But
Okay, so in this book right here, I talk about how to do the body types and mesh that into the keto plan. And what I talk about is you always start out with the basics. Hopefully she started with the basic plan that everyone does. It's just keto and IF. Do that for 2 weeks, and then you phase into specifically what weakness you have to tweak things. But given what you have, I would put some more emphasis on the adrenal because you have an autoimmune issue, and that's probably a little bit more senior information. That being said, you also need to put more energy into doing intermittent fasting, which will really drop the inflammation, and that's where you have all the collateral damage from these autoimmune is the inflammation. So I would do the adrenal, support that, and if you don't have a gallbladder, they do have some extra ones you can get. You can buy them and insert them. They come in different materials, titanium and things like that. I'm being very sarcastic. Now, you want to take purified bile salts. So you can just add that to the mix, and because you don't have the bile, and if you don't have the bile, it's going to be hard to pull in these nutrients, especially DHA. And DHA is basically all about brain health, making you smarter, and also making sure that you have, you can see better. So the vision, the brain, give you some brain cells. I mean, who couldn't use a couple brain cells, Karen?
trust me, I'm always looking for a couple brain cells.
Yeah, well.
Maybe I can find them where that guy can find his gallbladder.
No, you have to actually.
In the parts department.
All you have to do is you have to take DHA, and you have to basically do keto healthily, and intermittent fasting. And it's like Miracle Grow for your brain. You'll have better memory, better learning capacity, and things like that. So you could also, and this is kind of a little cool thing, is to take some MCT oil. Mm-hmm. Don't take too much.
Okay.
And recently I've been experimenting with it, and I'm finding my sleep is better if I take it before I go to bed, just like a half a teaspoon, because you would think you just have all this energy, but it actually just feeds your brain what it needs to increase oxygen, because the brain prefers ketones. Now, if you're already in ketosis, you'll be getting ketones, but maybe you have insulin resistance and you're not getting the quantities that your brain might want. So if you just take some extra, put it in your blood, and your brain will suck it right up, and your brain will be happy. You have a happy brain. Now, you could also get nutrition from the brain by eating brains, but I've never tried that. You can saute them. Sounds good if you mix them with your
I hear it tastes
bacon.
like chicken.
I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to do that.
No, it's like tongue. I hear
Yeah,
tongue
no.
is really good, but I just.
Well, do you have another question? Because we're working
I know the
through.
phones.
We're working
There's
through
a
the
problem
phones.
with the phones. So if you guys are trying to call, because I see some comments here about the phones, it is true. There is a glitch with the phones today. It rarely happens, but today it's happening. So I think it's Davender on YouTube. I think he watches every week or often, if this is the same one. How would you recommend to fix motion sickness? Is there something nutritionally you can do?
I don't think it's a nutrition deficiency. I think that, well, it depends. If you're actually having it when you're not moving, like let's say you're in your car, you need to look at in the far distance and focus on an object, that should handle it. But if you have like a motion sickness when you're not driving and things like that, that usually is some mucus in the inner ear, usually coming from the eustachian tube. There's kind of maybe some bacteria coming up through the throat. And that normally should go away if you avoid milk products and you avoid sugar. And by the way, if you know people who have this chronic sinus or chronic tonsil issue, which I'm going to do a video today on that, just get them off the sugar, including milk sugar, and watch it improve. And also, of course, zinc will help, and vitamin D. Those are the two nutrients that support the immune system better than anything else I know.
Okay. All right. Now, here's one from, well, no name on YouTube. How to fix cracking nails.
Yeah. There's a couple of minerals that are involved. Zinc is important. Folic acid is also important. You could actually have a problem with the omega-3 fatty acids as well. So you really have to kind of look at what it could be, because the combination to build connective tissue, which is like your nails, your and even your skin has some connective tissue in there, and your ligaments. What you need is a combination of trace minerals, okay, maybe even iron too, and you also need protein, obviously, and that usually can happen because you don't have enough stomach acid, or you need the omega-3 fatty acids. And it's really weird because if you have a deficiency in either one of those, it can create that symptom, and you don't really know which one it could be. So you have to kind of, you got to ask yourself, like, am I getting enough trace minerals? Well, where do you get trace minerals from? Seafood. Do I eat enough fish or seafood? No. Okay, good, then that could be it. Or am I getting enough DHA? Where do you get that from? Well, you can get that from seafood. You could also get it from fish, but so you just kind of want to just scan things and see what it could be, or just take all three.
Good.
Listen, on that note, Karen.
Phones are back up.
Fran from New Jersey, you had a question about keto. Can I do keto with a surgery? Explain what you're asking there.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, I had a weight loss surgery. It was the sleeve where they take out half of your stomach, right?
Yeah.
So I'm only allowed to eat about 4 ounces at a time. I pretty much plateaued after 60 pounds. I was hoping to lose more than that. So I started healthy keto with my husband. He's lost 22 pounds in 8 weeks, and we bought your book and your supplements. And I'm just wondering if there should be modifications that I should make, because he's eating 2 meals a day, but I find that I'm getting hungry. But he's like, I can't snack because then I create insulin, and I just don't know if there's a different guideline I should be following.
Yeah. So, because what happens when you have the sleeve, you're not having the full capacity of usually stomach and even part of the intestine sometimes, depending on what they're doing, that to help you absorb. The good thing about this is that you are born with a lot of extra tubing and piping in your digestive system, so you can get by without the full plumbing, so to speak. But with you, I think, going into this and just understanding what happens with people that have gastric bypass, you want to enhance with definitely trace minerals, purified bile salts, other minerals and other vitamins, because that's really the kind of liability of doing that. Number 2, I think you want to increase your fat so you don't have to eat as frequent. But I would do something that doesn't require a lot of gallbladder and liver help, and that would be the MCT oil and or coconut oil. Okay, I would do that. So we want to eat a little bit more fat if you can tolerate it, so you're not so hungry. The cool thing about intermittent fasting is that your requirement for nutrients goes down. So I think you're on the right track. I would continue keto. I would just refine it with MCT oil or coconut oil and those nutrients, and then maybe beef up some of the fat, no pun intended. And there's one last thing I think you would benefit from. If someone has like gastric bypass or liver damage or kidney damage, or they're anorexic or bulimic, they're usually deficient in protein, well, amino acids, not just protein. That product I have, which is called Keto Essential Amino Acids, is really good for that, because it'll drive in the amino acids without having to break them down, without wasting them, without turning them into sugar. So you'll get them for a full repair, and you don't need as much. You just need smaller amounts. So that would be my advice. Thanks, Fran. All right. Kevin, you're from North Carolina. You had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. I had thyroidectomy 4 or 5 years ago, and after that, every time that I eat anything that has a lot of sugar, or just even blueberries at this point, I get very sticky skin. And my endocrinologist couldn't explain it. I also have a neurological condition, so I asked my neurologist about it, and he had no idea either. I've been doing the healthy version of keto for about a year, and I just thought maybe you might be able to shed some light on it.
Yeah, question I have. Did you have Hashimoto's, or did you have like a hyperthyroid? Why did they take it out?
I had thyroid cancer. I have a lot of hypothyroidism in the family, and most of it is Hashimoto's.
Okay. All right. So Kevin, what's interesting about hypothyroid problems is that the great majority of hypothyroid, like 90, 95%, it's Hashimoto's, which is actually an immune problem. It's not even a thyroid issue. And so even taking too much iodine could be not good, but it's usually not even a deficiency of iodine. It's a deficiency of, or it's a reaction from the gut, or low selenium could actually trigger that, or low vitamin D could also be a problem. But here's what I would do if I were you. I would start taking foods high in selenium. That would be a shellfish, or take it as a supplement. You can take Brazil nuts as well. But selenium is really awesome because what it'll do, especially even though you had your thyroid removed, it will give your body what it really needed. And it helps to detoxify excess hydrogen peroxide in the body that mess up other organs. It'll decrease inflammation. But selenium and the other trace minerals, that's what I would go in that direction, and I think that should help you. And guess what? Sugar depletes selenium and zinc. So if you actually do the shellfish, you'll kill two birds with one stone. All right, thanks for your question. Karen, over to you.
Good. Hey, so Londi is on Facebook this morning. She's going to be at the summit.
Cool.
Our Londi.
Cool.
Okay, good. So she has a question. She says, hi, guys. She has a client because she helps people with keto and IF. Have a client that does extreme exercise, marathons primarily. Keto's really helped handle his, I believe the word is supposed to be biking, and he recovers well. But he still has less of a, what she puts in quotes as fast burn, with races on hills and less strength in lifting. Okay? So I guess it's the intensity. He also has IBS. So they have to carefully balance his fats, especially MCT and coconut. He has a big race coming. What can he do?
Well, when you have IBS, I'll be talking about this at the summit, you inhibit the absorption of nutrients. So you don't get the nutrients, and you definitely don't get the protein that you need. So that would be an example of, I would recommend those amino acids, number one. Also the B vitamins. The B vitamins will give more energy, especially like B1, B12, and it's probably the gut is not allowing you to absorb that. Now, as far as the fats go, the cool thing about MCT oil, which I would highly recommend using that if you're working out. In fact, I'm taking it, and I really love it because it bypasses the whole gallbladder thing. You don't need bile to absorb it. You don't even need enzymes you don't need pancreatic help. You don't need liver help. This MCT oil goes in like a rocket ship, and some people have to go light with it, but if you take it before a workout, your body can use that as energy, and MCT oil is not converted to fat. It's used as energy. So if he's kind of dragging, that's the fat that he wants to use to get his energy up with the help of B vitamins and with the help of amino acids.
Now, why would he have to be careful balancing his fat if he has IBS?
Well, because other types of fat might not be able to be absorbed because he has that lining that is inflamed. So like all the fat-soluble vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and you might have a problem with bile salts too, because you have 95% of all the bile salts are recycled in the gut. So if he's not recycling these, he's deficient in bile, and then he takes fat, it's like it's going to hurt his stomach.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on there, but if he does intermittent fasting, that should eventually help the gut heal. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, good. Harvinder from Kansas. You had a question.
Yes, it's about my son. He's 11 years old, and we're a vegetarian family. He never tasted soda or no juice, no junk food at home. But he's keep gaining weight. He's like 5'2", and then he's around 130 pounds already, and that worries me.
Okay.
I don't know. The only fats he gets from dairy, and that's it. I mean.
And do you want to keep going with being a vegetarian or a vegan or a vegetarian?
We're vegetarians. We
Okay.
do use dairy, and that's it. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to continue that, or are you willing to try other things? Or
No, we will be continuing
Okay.
being a vegetarian. Yes.
Okay. So a couple things that are really important for your child. I did a video on how to do keto being a vegan.
Vegetarian.
A vegetarian. It's not easy. You can do it. The problem is that you keep running into higher amounts of carbs. It's in so many things. So you're going to have to watch that video and apply that information to try to keep the carbs down, get your protein, and get the right amount of fats. That being said, I would highly recommend you do eggs. You can do eggs, right, being a vegetarian. Not necessarily just dairy, which is milk products. So, but DHA you can get from algae as a vegan. That would be very important, DHA. I would get a plant-based trace mineral for him, and I would also make sure he's taking enough vitamin D and B12. Make sure you get the methylcobalamin because that's the one that he needs, just to make sure there's no deficiencies with that. And then I would watch the video and try to enhance his diet. I would also recommend, by the way, that those keto essential aminos for him. These amino acids are a vegan blend. Actually, I lied. Most of them are, all but one are vegan. Okay, and the other one is it's made from a bacterial, a yeast type fermentation. But if you're willing to take that, I think that will help get the protein, which is 100% absorbable, so then he doesn't have to worry about trying to fulfill that amino acid profile because so many vegans are deficient in protein. Unfortunately, you can't build protein tissue unless you have all the essential ones. And you can do it being vegan. I'm not saying you can't, but it's more difficult. But thanks for your question. And now we're going to go to Karen.
But I have a question on that. So she's maybe asking about doing keto, but why would he be gaining weight? Or we're assuming it's just the hidden carbs in the vegetarian diet.
It has to be, because if you're being a vegetarian, there's a big difference between a vegetarian being plant-based or eating vegetables. You could be doing grains,
rice,
pasta,
that
type of stuff.
Okay.
So he needs to cut that out. And then, hey, sugar
That's what causes the weight gain.
Sugars, that's, so the point is that you want to cut down the carbs because that's causing the weight. It's spiking the insulin. Okay.
And then also so little fat, really. It sounds like just the fat that they're taking in is in dairy.
Fat, the most important one is because he could be doing like flax and walnuts and nuts and things like that and getting the precursor for the omega-3, which is DHA or EPA. But, and that's these precursors called ALA don't convert well. So you might convert, if you're lucky, 0 to 4%. So that's why DHA is very, very important in a growing child, and even a baby, and even a pregnant woman, because that actually will form the future brain and influences IQ and a whole bunch of other things. And the retina, turning light into electrochemical energy. Okay,
wow.
Karen, that being said, let's go to Terry from Kansas City, Missouri.
Hello, Dr. Berg. Hello.
Hello.
Mrs. Berg. How are you all?
Hi, good.
I'm so excited to be on here. I started Keto IBS July 4th, and as of today, I'm 25 pounds down.
Wow, wow.
Specifically, my question is dealing with the fact that I've recently been diagnosed with Meniere's disease. And I'm just wondering if you had any recommendations, as it causes really horrible vertigo, and which throws me also into anxiety attacks. And it only happens like twice a year, but they're terrible. And I'm just wondering if you have anything for that.
So I have a question. Do you have any type of history or current problems with sinus infections or throat infections?
My sinuses bother me all the time, but not infections. I've not had any infections.
Okay.
I sneeze a lot.
Yeah. So chances are this is coming from something going on in your sinuses or in the back of the throat that's going through the eustachian tube, and there's probably some mucus in the inner ear. So you could take a couple drops of garlic and put it in each ear each day to help kill any type of microbes as a natural thing. But the real thing is handling the sinus issue. So I would watch the videos that I have on that, how to do it like a nasal sinus rinse, and then also, of course, get off dairy, sugar, of course, and I'm assuming you're doing keto by the book. Buy the book, buy my book, and buy the book, and do it by the book. So I would do that. And I would also add in there a good amount of zinc and vitamin D for allergies and sensitivities, and you might need to actually get an allergy test. But those are some things that I would do, and I think that's really behind the Meniere's. Good question. All right, Karen. Ready for what?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
I was reading. I was
Got it.
not paying attention.
That's fine, because I'm not going to quiz you.
Okay, good.
Until later.
Okay, here's a question about gout using
Yeah.
Keto and IF.
Yeah. So some people have a flare-up of gout when they do, especially when they do intermittent fasting. And the reason for that is that uric acid acts as an antioxidant in the body. So it has a purpose of killing off stuff. I'm sorry, not killing off things. Protect you against oxidation. But it's part of the immune system. And so you do intermittent fasting, you get the spike of uric acid and end up like toe pain because you have this gout. So the best way to counter that, Karen, is to just shift the pH just slightly more on the alkaline side. So take potassium from potassium chloride or potassium citrate would be better. Lemon juice actually will help. Consume more vegetables. Maybe even calcium citrate or magnesium citrate or calcium magnesium. So we want alkalized type things to counter this acidity, and that should go away because the gout situation will, the uric acid levels will go down if you just shift the pH. If you check the pH, usually in the urine, you'll probably have like a 5, and you want like a 6. Okay?
Okay, good.
That's the tip of the week.
Okay, good. Here's another one. This guy has hyperkalemia. So you're going to have to explain what that is because I don't know what that is. Is it okay to drink potassium every day?
Now, he has high potassium in the blood, which is interesting. I've done videos on this. And obviously, if you have hyperkalemia, you don't want to start spiking up your potassium because you already have too much. But I'm just really curious, like, why he has this.
He's drinking potassium every day, too.
Yeah, I'd probably avoid that for right now. Usually, people have potassium problems, but he has a hypokalemia.
How would you get that?
I don't want to get into, because that's a whole video right now. But I will say that you want to avoid potassium foods and also eat the counter minerals. So the counter mineral would be sodium. And start consuming more salt. That should help because sodium and potassium work in opposites. So beef up, no pun intended, your salt, and then maybe cut down some of the potassium. But watch my video on hyperkalemia. It could be, Karen, now that you brought up that question, it could be a problem with the kidneys, but that's usually rare. That's very rare. Could be a problem with the liver, but that's rare. So now you have me curious. I'd love to get a full history on him just to see what's causing that, but we don't have time for that.
Right.
But anyway, that's what I would do. Take
Okay,
more
good.
salt.
Good.
Let's go to Cindy
Yeah.
from Irvine, California. You had a question about something. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg and Karen.
Hi.
My question is, why some people has sticky sweat and some people has watery sweat?
Well, I just hate that when my sweat sticky, but I do
I've
understand.
never heard of that. I didn't know that was
Well,
the situation.
I really think you have this sebaceous gland in your skin, and it releases an oil, and it releases a little bit of fluid to protect you. And if it's too thick or you have too much oil, and I think maybe that's what's causing the stickiness, that could come from an imbalance of essential fatty acids. So what I would do, because first thing is I would make sure you're doing healthy keto exactly like I recommend in the book. Buy the book, literally buy the book. And then I would also start to make sure that you're taking enough of the essential fatty acids. And Karen, what foods could one eat to increase more of these essential fatty acids? Omega-3.
Fish.
Good. And?
Nuts. The precursors are in nuts.
Right.
Because I
Good.
just heard you say that a minute ago.
Good.
What else?
Well,
Meat.
has some. Shellfish and fish.
Don't be shellfish.
Can you say that real fast? Shellfish. Shellfish.
Don't be shellfish.
That's a weird word. Shellfish and selfish. It just sounds so similar, but it's so different. The meaning
I'm
is so different.
selfish about my shellfish.
It's just an interesting
I
word.
love shellfish.
It's very interesting. But that's what I would do. Also, I will say that high levels of blood sugar problems will cause a problem with that gland overproducing. You also might need more vitamin A, which, what's the best source of vitamin A?
Oh, vitamin A. I don't want to give that away. Let's have that be a quiz. What's the best source of vitamin A? Social media.
Okay, let's see what you guys have.
Let's see what you guys
because
have.
we have 3 more minutes, and we're actually
Best source
stalling.
of vitamin A.
And we really apologize for anyone who couldn't get through because of these calls. I don't know what happened, but we are going to find out
Happens sometimes.
Find out what happened.
Sometimes
so we can
your
fix this.
network goes down. Sometimes your computer goes down.
I hate that.
I don't know how we function in life without that, but it happens.
But we have great support on that. We had a whole team working on it, and
We
they
have
pushed
our-
buttons and pulled levers and got it back. But we do apologize as a production staff. And next week, on Friday, by the way, we'll be back in a regular schedule. We want to make sure that we really lean on the callers and help make up for our lost time. So we apologize.
And if there's any upset, I will give you Steve's cell phone. You can
Yeah,
call
we're
him,
gonna publish
talk
Steve's
to him
cell phone
directly,
number
and you can
and
complain,
his
and
address.
he will take your call.
Lines are open.
His lines are open.
Yeah, it's kind of like the complaint department where you have a little piece of paper. All right, Karen, what do you have
Okay.
as a question? Well, actually,
No, there's a lot of answers here. These are great. Okay, so look, we have eggs, sun, cod liver oil, carrots, cod liver organ meats, carrots, apples, kale, cod liver, cod liver, carrots, eggs, sweet potatoes, carrots, cod liver, carrots, cantaloupe, and it goes on kind of like that. Pumpkin, green pepper, cod liver.
Okay, thank you, Karen. So
There's a theme.
The number one food that has the most vitamin A is actually beef liver. However, cod liver is very, very high too.
Okay.
So all these guys are correct. Now, you can also get vitamin A in eggs.
Yes,
You
eggs
can
is a
get
popular answer.
Especially in the yolk part, not the white part. You can get it
Seal
from
liver.
Oh yeah, definitely be careful though, because the thing about vitamin A, it's really awesome, but not in large amounts. You don't want too much. So polar bear liver is probably the most toxic. If you have too much, you can literally die from that. So don't consume
Don't eat too much polar bear liver.
But here's the thing: cod liver oil is
How
one of
many
my favorite.
people have a polar bear liver in their refrigerator? That's my next question.
Okay, Karen.
Okay.
Here's the thing: if you're doing kale and vegetables, they're defining it as vitamin A, but it's really not vitamin A. It's a precursor of vitamin A, beta carotene, and you have to convert it. And you're not going to convert very much. Probably maybe 4%, 5%. So you're not getting the best source of vitamin A, retinol, which is the active version, from greens. However, that being said, I still recommend consuming them because we need that beta carotene for other things. There's a lot of benefits, minerals, vitamin C, and also beta carotene in general. It's a great thing.
Good. So Vicki
Yeah.
on YouTube says, have a successful summit, Berg family. Good wishes from Costa Rica.
Awesome.
It is 12 o'clock.
But I'm going to take Cindy's call.
Oh, we're
Cindy,
going over the edge?
Did that answer your question? I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, have a good one. That being said, Karen.
Yes, it's time. It's time to wrap it up. It's
Yep.
time to head over to the hotel.
Have a wonderful weekend. We will hope to see you at the summit.
Yeah, I hope we see you guys. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Yep, have a great one.
Okay, bye.